Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Jason. I would like to say thank you very much for all your support, your encouragement, and your questions. I left off talking about coming out of high school and my drug use. First off, I want to go back and touch up on something that I think is very important. I don't want to cheat you, and I think a lesson can be learned out of this, and I just want to go back and touch something in high school. So when I was in high school, I got into a little scuffle, a little fight, and I got pain pills prescribed to me. Got into a fight, I injured my hand. Now, when I got these pain pills prescribed to me, they weren't regulated by my parents. Went to the doctor, got them prescribed. You know, obviously, it wasn't really a known issue at the time how or what the effects were and what it could lead to. You know, but looking back now, if I could go back in time and tell myself something, I would have told myself never to have taken the damn things. One thing I noticed looking back, I really like the feeling that those pills gave me. And I noticed I started taking them pills as they were prescribed, one every 4 hours, one every 6 hours, whatever it was. Then I liked the feeling, like I said. So I was like, well, what about if I take 2 every 4 hours? Or what about if I take 2 every 1 hour, whatever it was. So I started noticing, I guess, that I was powerless over the euphoric feeling. Now I notice that. Not then, because all I wanted was the feeling of the euphoric feeling of feeling good. So when the pills ran out, I was sad. I was depressed. I wanted more. And if there were more around, I would have gotten more. But at that time, it wasn't a big epidemic, so to say, which I'm grateful for that. Because who knows where I would be right now. So I guess a suggestion would be, because obviously in high school, there's kids in sports. You know, parents, if your kid gets injured and there are pain pills prescribed, regulate it. Actually, be honest with yourself. Do you really even need them? Tylenol, ibuprofen, you know, those should be good enough. You know, but be honest with yourself. Do you even really need them? And I mean, as an adult, same thing. Do you even really need them? Now, if you do notice yourself starting to abuse your prescription and be powerless over that feeling, obviously you might have a problem. And if you find yourself, when your prescription's out, looking for something else, and you're starting to doctor hop, doctor shop, whatever you want to call it, that's addict behavior. So you might have a problem. You might want to seek help immediately because, like I said, that's addict behavior. Now, if you can discipline yourself enough, maybe give that prescription over to someone and have them, you know, regulate that, hand them out to you when need be. But obviously, I couldn't do that. And that was a precursor to what's about to happen. So with that being said, as I came out of high school, you know, I was still doing basically all the drugs, cocaine, Ritalin, smoking weed, drinking, you know, ecstasy here and there, shrooms here and there. You know, it's basically when I could get the stuff. You know, there was more drugs on the regular than the other. But coming out of high school, yeah, I did attempt college. And I went to college, still doing drugs, thought I could do it, but I failed because my priorities were all jacked up. Went out partying all the time, asked myself why am I failing? Didn't put two and two together. Then obviously I got down on myself, I got depressed again. I knew, obviously my parents were kind of catching on at this time. They knew my partying was kind of playing an effect on it. They knew drinking at an early age. They knew I was partying with drugs, but they didn't know to what degree, to what severity. So due to me feeling like a failure, I used drugs and alcohol to cope with it, which obviously didn't help out the situation. What is that going to do? It's not going to help out. It's not going to make me succeed in school. So it's not gonna bring a positive from a negative, using drugs and alcohol to cope with anything. So instead of being honest and opening up to somebody about my use and letting them know what I was doing, to let them intervene, and because I felt ashamed, I was embarrassed. I was in denial. I was clueless that I was really an addict at the time. But it was starting to become a mess. It was really starting to snowball. So I dropped out of college. I just stopped going. I didn't do homework, missed classes. It just fell off. Then by the age of between 19 and 21, I acquired a fake ID due to having older friends. I'm not blaming anybody for what I've been through in the past, because who I am now, I am so grateful for. I can't even explain it. I have so much strength to stand here and admit my faults, my wrongdoings, and I'm so grateful for everybody who I have in my life still. But 19 to 21, I entered the bars. And being at that age, you are introduced to, obviously, drugs. There's drugs there. You're introduced to new people. With that being said, new people, you start getting introduced to new ways of doing drugs. So obviously I was still doing cocaine at the time. Now I was introduced to doing what is called foilies. And I'm not going to tell you how they're done or made or anything like that, but basically it's a precursor to crack. With that being said, you guys should know where the story's going. So as that went on, 19 to 21, I started getting from 19 to 21, I was at the bar doing that, partying, really not doing anything. Yeah, I had jobs, lost them, wasn't being a productive member of society, and then from before, because I was introduced to pain pills back then, I knew how they made me feel. They made me feel good. So obviously, when OxyContin came about, and I had the opportunity and I was introduced to that, I can't remember exactly how, but I took one, snorted it, and it made me feel great, you know. And I ended up getting hooked on OxyContin. So, man, that basically took me from my 20 years, from 21 to 25, right before I went into the military. But during those years, I did a lot of wrongful things that I am very ashamed of. But that wasn't me. That was my disease, which made me do those things. And whether it was to family, whether it was to other people, you know, I sold drugs to support my habit. Actually, I sold drugs because I thought, oh, I can make money, but no, I sold drugs, and then I did the drugs that I sold, and I thought I was gonna make money off of them, but I was doing the drugs that I was selling, and then the money I was making off the drugs, I was using that to support my habit. I just wanted, it was a mess. It was a freaking mess. Man, the lifestyle of an addict is terrible. It's misery. It is so stressful. It's beyond pain. It's misery. And that's why I do these videos, to help others learn, to spread the message. I've been there. And obviously, I just hope people can spread the message. Whoever's caught in addiction now, active addiction, I hope a light bulb might go off and be like, man, he's been there. Obviously, this isn't going anywhere. Nothing's helping. And, you know, it's just ultimately going to lead to an early death. Plain and simple. Or it's going to lead to jail. You know, it's a proven fact. So I sold drugs, and I wanted to feel like a rock star. You know, that too. That comes with that too. You want to feel, living a fast life, you know, and that's part of the lifestyle too. And it's garbage. Not only that, you're messing other people's lives up too. You're spreading the toxicity. And I didn't even look at that. I didn't look at that because my brain was so messed up that all I cared about was getting my fix. I didn't care about what I was doing to Joe Blow or Sally or anybody else. And then I would sit there and go boosting from stores. You know, I got caught stealing from stores. You know, that's on my record. Gratefully, I still got into the military. Man, it just spirals and spirals and spirals out of control. Nothing good happens from using drugs and alcohol. So I'm gonna leave it at that right now. Basically, and not only that, that's when I started messing with basically all prescription drugs. Xanax, OxyContin, whatever the hell I started getting my hands on, I did. But that's where I'm gonna leave it at right now, right before I went into the military, right before I met my wife. But it started really getting bad. But thank you very much for your support, your encouragement, the tips, everything. Thank you so much. Please follow, subscribe, drop comments. I appreciate everybody hitting me messages and everything. And I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. Spread the message. Thank you.